Hello, my name's Teacher Jane. Welcome to today's session, Carpentry and Joinery. This is a laser qualification. All you need to complete this unit is a pen and a piece of paper. What I want you to do is just jot down a couple of notes. I'm going to tell you exactly how to do it, and then take a photo of it and email it to me. You've got my email address just above. If you wish, you can read what's on the bottom left-hand side of the screen. The next slide shows you the learning outcomes, what I expect you to know, and how I'm going to decide whether you know it. Again, you can pause the video and read it if you so wish. The first thing I need you to find is a nice pen and a piece of paper. If you're lucky, you might find a piece of lined paper. A plain piece of paper is sufficient. We're writing very little today, so don't worry. It's mainly one-word answers. You're going to look at some pictures and then see if you can decide what they are. So, I need your name in the top, either the left or the right, and then I need the date on the opposite side. Underneath, I'd like you to put a title, and the title is Carpentry and Joinery, E3. Can you see that I've made a mistake with my title? I should have put a capital J for joinery. If you want your work to look fabulous, underline the title. Leave a line, and then next to the margin, I'd like you to write name 6 tools and put 6 bullet points down. Do it how I've done it so you can get all your work on one side of a piece of paper. I told you we weren't doing a lot of writing today. So, you can pause the video, and what I want you to do is look for 6 tools that you do and write them down next to the bullet points. Pause the video now. I'm going to quickly run through them. Top left, square. Great for getting, what's that angle? 90-degree angles. Fabulous. To the right of it, I've got a plane. Good for shaving wood, get nice finishes to it. And on the right of that, I have a vice. Holds everything securely. Make sure I don't injure my hands, especially if I'm using sharp objects. I've also got a tape measure. Does anybody know what that is? Just up there? Begins with a CH. Chisels. We use those when we're making our plant holders. Do you remember? Then over here I've got a hammer. Bonus point if you know that is a claw hammer. What do you always check when using a hammer? Yeah, that the end is on nice and secure. I think one of you spotted one with a bit of wobble. That's a type of person I like to work with. Somebody that has safety in mind. Over here, I've got a marking gauge, and then to the right of it, I've got a spirit level. Does anybody remember what the name of that was? Mitre box. One of the most popular cuts that you all do is a mitre cut. They're everywhere. Picture frames, door frames. We even put one around our table just to make it look nice. Around the outside of the table. The perimeter. Well done if you got that. Next I've got a drill. Here. Sander. Underneath I've got a screwdriver. Just going to pause the video. Got a little terror come to join me. So I've got a screwdriver, and then to the right of it I've got a saw. Do we know what type of saw that is? It's a great one for getting a really straight, nice line. Tenon saw. It's got that metal bar at the top. And then to the right of it, I think most of you's favourite one, the rip saw. Why do you like that one? Because it cuts through things. It rips through them really quick. Good for rough cuts. So, back to your piece of paper. I'd like you to, next to the margin, name 6 materials and do your 6 bullet points. Again, we're going to look at the slide. You're welcome to pause them, and I want you to identify 6 materials. Pause the video and have a go. So firstly, I've got a plank of wood, or just plain piece of wood. Next, I've got varnish. Why might you use varnish? Varnish is great for protecting wood. You know, if it gets splashed, something that might be going next to a sink or outside, that's going to protect it from the rain and make your object last a lot longer. Wood adhesive or wood glue. I think we've used a bit of that when we were sticking our little blocks down for our tables. I've got a nail there and some tiles. I'm sorry she's here. She was trying to get in on the camera when I was filming a minute ago. Next thing I've got is tiles. Lovely. Again, stop splashes and things. We could have used those if I wanted something to make a rest for hot things to go on. I've got screw there, bricks, tape. Does anybody know what type of tape that is? It's called masking tape, and you use that in cars as well. If you're painting and you don't, or spraying, and you don't want the paint to go on the windows, that's what you'd use. Maybe to hold a bit of newspaper there so it doesn't spray on. I use marking tape when I'm painting a lot to make sure my edges are nice and tidy. I think I've done bricks, haven't I? Bottom left, I've got paint. Lots of different types of paint, so make sure you've got the right paint for the right job. And then to the right of that, what's that? Sandpaper. P60. Is that rough or is that for finishing? It's rough. That's a rough old one that you use. You know, when you really want to get something sanded down quickly. Not very good for finishing. Then I've got wood filler. We used that quite a bit. You know, when some of our little blocks didn't quite match. Excellent. So, next slide. Woo, terror. So again, just write 2.1, select correct tools. And then on the next slide, I've got 3 different situations. And I want you to decide what you would use for them. So A, what would you use to check a piece of wood was the correct size? Tape measure, or you could use a steel rule. All you need to do is write down tape measure. B, you want to make a hole to put a screw in because you think the wood might split. Do you remember with our birdhouses? Yeah, we had to do a hole, going with a P, pilot hole. Yeah, and it stopped it splitting. So what would you use to do that? I hope you said drill. Next one, you notice the screw is a little bit loose. It's sticking out. Nasty sharp edge there. What could you use to make it sink into the wood? Screwdriver. Hope you wrote that. Next slide. This time you're going to select the correct materials. I'm going to give you, again, write this down. I'm going to give you 3 different jobs or tasks. And I want you to decide what you'd use for them. Pause the video and have a go. First one, you've made something. You're worried it might get splashed. What could you use to make it water resistant? Begins with a V. Varnish. V-A-R-N-I-S-H. Well done. B. You made a table to go in a child's bedroom. Most of the furniture is green. What could you do to make it match? That's right, you could paint it. You want to make a joint a little bit stronger. It's already been screwed. What could you add to that joint to make it rock solid? That's right, a bit of wood glue. Excellent. Oh, can you see that picture there? That shows a bit of wood that water has got into and made a stain on it. Next one, very easy, this little objective. So next to your margin, 3.1-4, see pictures in folders. You all know I've taken lots of pictures of you hard at work. Got a couple up here. I can use those as evidence. I've written down the criteria. If you want, you can have a read of them. But you all know that you do all these all of the time. Next thing, I want you to have a little think, and I want you to think about your table. Write down what I've written, and then underneath I want you to think of what went well with it, and then what could be better. Jotted down some ideas here. Have a think. Next one, this time we're going to be thinking about our birdhouse. Write this down, identify what might have been done differently for the birdhouse. There's lots of different things you could have done differently. Oh, I think I'm going to get a bite. No, maybe not. She's old and humpy. So what could you have done differently for the birdhouse? On the next slide, that's it. I've written down some ideas here. So have a think about your birdhouse. Do you think it would have been better with an extra hole to go in and out? Do you think it would have been better if you painted it or varnished it? I heard that painting and varnishing them can stop the birds from liking them. I don't know if you remember, we had a little bit of a deadline, didn't we? I wanted to get them ready to sell them. And we sold them, and that paid for some of us to go on the Red Arrows experience at the Science Museum. Got a few ideas here. Well, that was the last thing that you needed to do, so well done. All I need you to do now is take a picture of your work and email it to me. Don't forget to put your name in the subject line on the email. Well done.